Now we will talk about a new type of operator that we call SetW manipulator. So what these manipulators do, it actually modifies the output or the data that you display in the screen. Okay, we have already seen one manipulator, that is the ENDL manipulator. What the ENDL manipulator does, it actually inserts a new line, right? So this SetW manipulator, it actually also manipulates the output. It changes the output field width. So what does this mean? So let's see our result before going into details. So let's assume this is the program. You don't need to see the program right now, just see the output of the program. So this is the output of the program. So look at the output. Okay, so here the output starts here. This pop is 4 letter, so it stops here. This 247 is 785. This is how many letters? 7. So it goes on. This is 2 letter, it stops here. So this is one format. So if I want to compare between these numbers, it actually becomes a bit difficult, because 47 should be compared with this last part, right? 47 should be compared with this last two, 61. So what if we can somehow improve this? Okay, or we can actually make the lines look better or insert spaces between them. So all this can be done using the SetW operator. So SetW, what does this mean? This means set width. W stands for width. So what it does, after you write the program, we'll come back to the program later. Let's see what changes it brings to the output. So now look at the output. Okay, it's much more organized. Okay, you see the values that are 85, 47, they are filled from this way. So this actually looks a little bit better. So this is what the SetW operator does. Now let's go back here and see what is the code. So normally if I want to print something, okay, so like we have assigned values and we have printing it. Okay, location, pop, ENDL, port city, variable, ENDL. So this is the normal cases. So if you want to use SetW, all you have to do is just make a small changes. What is the small change? You see the same printf is here, just before the location variable. Okay, I am using a SetW8, that means set width 8, and after the location variable I'm using SetW12. Rest part of the code is same. Again, if I go for this line, you'll see this is same as well. Go look for the other lines as well. As I was saying, so SetW operator, you don't have to do anything. Okay, you can use it if you want in your output. If you want, you can ignore it as well. So it basically says the width. So you don't have to change anything. Just before the variable you want to apply SetW, just write this line SetW8, it may be 10, 12, and so on. So your output will be formatted. That's it. And then we have this overall summary. So we know that we have these different types of variable type in C. We have Boolean that has two options, false and true. In case of character, we have -28 to 127. In case of short variables, we have -32,000 to +32,000. Okay, it takes 2 bytes of memory. Then in case of integer, we have like -2 billion to +2 billion. Okay, and takes 4 bytes of memory and so on. And then we have another type of data type that is called unsigned data type. Okay, we will not unsign data type that much here, but just to get to introduce you to the data type. So in case of unsigned data type, what you have to do, just use unsigned before character, short, integer, long. That's it. So what it does in short, so in this case, if I show you this integer allows you to store numbers from -2 billion to +2. In simple terms, integer allows you to store minus and plus both, right? But in case of unsigned integer, it only allows you to store positive numbers. Okay, and what is the disadvantage of unsigned? First disadvantage, it doesn't allow negative number. But what is the advantage? It allows you to store double the positive number. So you see, previously it was the highest value of possible was this. Now if you multiply this by 2, you will get this. So this allows you to represent numbers twice big in the sign type. So that is the advantage of unsigned data types. So sometimes if you face a program where you need to store a lot of integers, okay, a huge amount of positive integers, in that case you can use this one. So there are some examples of signed unsigned. We'll skip this for now. Now, the next topic is type conversion. So in the C program, I think you have practiced this as well, but in C++, this is much more easier. So what we can do, you can convert one data type to another data type. That means if you can convert integer to float, float to integer. So if you have a number like 5, if you convert it to integer, so let's assume we have 5. Now I want to convert it to float. So if you convert it to float, it will become 5.0. Again, if you have a number like 5.2, and if you convert it to integer, it will become 5. So these are some basic ideas that, and again, if you see, look at this one, it lost zero point 0.2 value. So this is the problem with type conversion. Sometimes we lose values. Same goes for, alphabets as well. We can convert characters as well. So there is actually an automatic conversion that can be done. So here is the hierarchy or the order of the data types. So whenever we are using the automatic conversion, okay, it starts from like character. This is the lowest order. So character converted to the short or integer or long or float or double. So if you convert from this order, okay, that means from below to the top, you will not lose any data values. So to keep it simple, you see, if I compare between integer and float, if I convert from integer to float, I will not lose any value. So if I convert 5 to 5.0, okay, there's nothing lost. But if I convert from float to integer, that means if I go down in this way, so if like there's a float number 5.2, if I convert it to 5, I actually lose some part of the variable or the data. So this is how what the order of data types mean. Not is the necessary for all the cases, but sometimes is how it works. So I think we are almost done with this chapter. Then we have some castings. I think we can skip this for now. We have some arithmetic operations that you're already familiar with, like percentage, okay, mod, the plus sign, how it plus sign works. So there are some basic programs that actually demonstrate how plus sign, how to implement a calculator program, how to use the increment program, that is count plus one or count plus count. So these are some of the basic programs that demonstrate this. The decrement operator, the library function. If you want to do complicated task, you can use this cmath library function. Like this here, they're trying to find out the square root of a number. So they are using this square root function. The header files, library files. Yeah, I think we're done with this chapter, and I think today we will finish. Just give me 2 more minutes. So what we learn in this chapter and what you should be able to answer, we learn about the major building block of C++ program. That's is the function. We already know that in C++. Then the function named main is where all the programs starts. Okay, the execution starts. This is also was the case of C program as well. The function is composed of statements. We already know that. In C++, we use console output to print an variable. It can be a normal variable. It can be any type of integer, character, float, or objects as well. So console output, cout is the object of this insertion operator. We also have cin operator. We have different various types of data, character, long, integer. What is the difference between them? What is the difference between integer and float? You already know it. What is the difference between integer and unsigned integer? That's we learned that in unsigned integer, you cannot store the negative numbers, but the limit becomes double. What is the difference between normal integer and long integer? In normal integer, you can store small amount of data, but in the long, you can store large amount of data. Okay, then we have used the const keyword. Okay, so we have seen this in a code that if we use this const keyword, let me highlight this one. The variable is no longer variable, but it's a constant. So if you want a variable that should not be edited, modified, we use this const. So here in this program, I want that this variable will not be modified anymore. Okay, so you can take input red, but you see, if I want to take input pi, what happens? Let's see. So you see, even though this pi is a variable, okay, I cannot take input because this is turned into a constant. And how can I understand it? Because my compiler is showing that this const cannot be taken as a input. So but again, if I want to take rad as input, you see the program works just fine. So sometimes if you want some variables in your program that they should not be accidentally changed, okay, like a counter or like, sorry, the counter will be changed, like the name of a certain person or a variables. Okay, so in that case you can set it to const. In that case, no person will be able to change it. Then we talked about variable conversion from one type of another type of conversion. And then there are some course about different operators that you already know. So that's it.